What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got some Destiny 2 news coming in the form of This Week at Bungie, or should I say This Week in Destiny. I'm just going to roll with it, man. I'm never going to stop calling it the TWAB. Also, I've got a bit of a sore throat, so I may be a bit more softly spoken than normal right here, but importantly, in the weekly update today, Bungie give us a bit of a heads up about some mid-season patch stuff, as well as a preview of some Festival of the Lost related things, so we get a better look at some of the armor, focusing options for Festival this year, which is interesting, as well as an emblem for the Craftening, and so this will be a commemorative emblem for when craftable weapons went rogue and we were able to do all kinds of crazy things with them. So we'll jump in and round up the TWID for the week. As always, I hope you find this one useful, and if you do, a rating below really does help us out, but otherwise, let's get into it. And so initially they say it's almost time for Festival of the Lost. Break out those tricks and treats, Guardians. It's officially spooktacular season, and Festival of the Lost is back next week with Space Grandma ready to dole out those sweets and celebrate all of our mask-wearing shenanigans. And so firstly, they talk about a new addition this year that'll make haunted sectors more rewarding when it comes to the experience itself and the rewards that they offer. And for the first time ever, they're introducing legend haunted sectors. And they do say there's a lot of loot to snag, so they break down what we can expect right here. Initially, there'll be eerie Engrams, a new type of Engram for 2023, and they say these have two uses. Players can crack them open individually for some treats, or use them as currencies for hocus focusing, and they'll get into that a bit more in a moment, but in terms of earning eerie Engrams, they say they'll have a chance to drop upon completion of haunted sectors, and legend haunted sectors will have a higher chance of dropping eerie Engrams. But then on to hocus focusing, which yes is an absolutely brilliant name. They say Eva Levante has seen what Rawal has been offering this season with exotic focusing, and she's decided that she'll offer her own spooky twist on the mechanic. So during Festival of the Lost, Eva will also offer players opportunities to acquire exotic armor with 4 focusing categories in addition to legendary weapons. And so there'll be a weapons eerie engram, and this drops festival weapons for a higher candy cost. But also there'll be an exotic arms, legs, helmet, and chest eerie engram. And in terms of hocus focusing costs, they say for exotic arms, it'll be 1 eerie engram cost with 2,500 candy cost. Those prices will be the same for legs, helmets, and chests. Or for a randomized Festival of the Lost weapon, it'll be 1 eerie engram and 500 candy. But as we can see, there'll also be the option for a specific festival weapon, which will cost 1 eerie engram, but 1,000 candy. And so firstly, some ways to focus into specific pieces of armor is pretty cool in terms of exotics, but also it's going to be a more deterministic way for us to earn Festival of the Lost weapons this time around. But they point out there are some special notes to keep in mind with hocus focusing, and players must own the expansion that the exotic armor is tied to in order for it to be eligible to drop from the focus in. But otherwise, it does point out that players won't have to have acquired the exotic armor previously for it to be eligible to drop from Hocus Focus in, so that's pretty cool, and it means that players who are still missing exotic armor have a chance to earn it from Hocus Focusing, which I do think is actually a pretty cool element there. Finally though, they say players will only receive exotic armor for the class that they are currently playing while interacting with that focusing option. And in this section, as you can see, we finally get a look at the Festival of the Lost armor. I believe this is the Titan set that we can see in the image, as well as the new Festival of the Lost weapon, the grenade launcher. And they list that weapon's engram will consist of the heavier cosmic grenade launcher, as well as the primary horror story auto rifle, the Jurassic Green pulse rifle, and macabre sniper rifle. And I made a separate video a couple of days back that has specific roles for those weapons if you want to check it out. Also in the TWID, there is a full list of all of the exotics that can actually drop from those different engrams during the event. And it pretty much appears to be all of the exotics in the game, at least up until Witch Queen. And so it would appear that it does exclude items that drop from Lightfall or the seasons that we've had since then. And obviously they want to keep the drop sources for those pieces of gear relevant. But if you do want to check out those lists, I will link them in the TWAB down below. They provide another image right here with the festival armor as well, which is cool. But they say one more thing before they move on to what's coming up in PvP. There will be a new haunting memento for weapons that'll be dropping during Festival of the Lost this year, and we can see it is literally pure black. But of course, it's a cool cosmetic option, and it's nice that they've added something like that to Festival. And they say, just like usual, this memento is a random drop that will come in the form of an eerie engram. It won't begin immediately, but we're sure you'll triumph over any challenges that may be between you and looking snazzy. So it sounds like as we make progress through the event, we'll start to get the opportunity to get that new all-black memento for weapons. So some interesting bits of information right there for Festival this year. Give us your thoughts down below. I'm certainly curious to see what that higher tier of haunted sectors will be like as well. But more rewards, more targetable loot certainly seems like a positive thing overall, and I'm sure there are more festival details that we'll get into next week, and potentially we'll see a trailer then as well. So share your thoughts down in the comment section. And next, they do talk a little bit about PvP. So for Checkmate, they say they want to make sure they get the tuning right before it makes its way out of Crucible Labs. So in terms of some changes we can expect to see soon, firstly, hand cannons will 3-tap at any resilience. On top of that though, rapid fire pulses will 3-burst at 6 resilience, high impact pulses will 2-burst at 5 resilience, and they're reducing the heavy ammo spawn frequency. So possibly we'll see that in the mid-season update. Then for matchmaking, they say with the mid-season patch, we're compressing the skill band used for matchmaking in the control playlist, and players should think of it as reducing the number of divisions in the skill band. And the result will be that there are more players in each remaining division, and therefore more players to match with, yielding quicker matchmaking times, while continuing to recognize differences in skill level. And they say they'll continue to iterate on that into next season. And they say for map spawning, they're going to be working on less systemic and more targeted spawns, and they're specifically looking to address issues on Altar of Flame and Cauldron. But I think we'll probably get more specifics on that when we get patch notes. And next, they talk about commemorating the crafting bug that we saw a few weeks back, and we are going to be getting a new emblem for that. So they say we'll commemorate this wacky time in pure Bungie fashion, and there'll be a new emblem, and everyone who played between September 15th at 9 AM PDT and September 21st at 10 AM PDT will receive the emblem when it's ready to go in Season 23. So there's a cool kind of crafting room background there, which is interesting, and a question mark over the weapon frame icon as well. So cool that they're doing something to commemorate that. Give us your thoughts about it down below. Also interestingly though, they've got a section here, Drive Responsibly Guardians, and they say always on time is a beloved Sparrow for a few reasons, but the primary one is its speed, and there are so many other amazing vehicles to cruise around the galaxy in. So beginning in Season 23, we're making that need for speed universal across all Sparrows. And so either they're increasing the speed of Sparrows, they're not actually specific about it, but I would assume that they're going to add the drive that makes always on time so quick as a potential role on any Sparrow in the game. Importantly though, always on time will no longer be the only very quick Sparrow in the game. I'm certainly pleased to see that. It's like they say, there are plenty of cool Sparrows, but I never take always on time off because I don't like to be late, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that as well. So another good change that we'll see in Season 23 right there. Interestingly, as this TWID went live, Joe Blackburn, the director for Destiny 2, was actually live on Twitch talking a little bit about the game, and there were a couple of very loose references. He spoke about pushing Checkmate to a larger audience in the future, and they want to get that into general playlists, but of course, as they said in the TWID, there's more tuning that they want to do. He also loosely discussed Banner of War, and they're looking at whether it's too dominant, but Joe Blackburn did point out there is still variability in the usage of Titan subclasses, so they don't want to hammer it too hard immediately. He also teased that there'll be more to come from Strand sooner than we might think, so maybe more fragments and stuff like that. And there were a couple of other loose mentions in there, but it certainly wasn't a place for big reveals, so nothing major to talk about on that front, but it would be cool to see more from Joe Blackburn and the rest of the Bungie team generally speaking about Destiny 2 in future. For today though, that's pretty much already happened by the time this video is going live. If you do want to check out more info from the TWID though, I'll link it down below. And for today, that's what we've got to talk about, so give us your thoughts in the comments section. I'll keep you posted when we get more festival info next week, and of course a potential reveal. If you've enjoyed the video today though, a rating below would really help us out. And get subscribed for more Destiny content, hopefully when my voice isn't about to literally fail on me. I'm having to pause this commentary and cough literally every 10 seconds, so we're going to call it there, my friends. But as always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you have an awesome day.